Hey, Margaret.
Yeah, Anton?
You know what people don't talk about enough?
What?
Wilhelm defying August is an act of self-care. Welcome to People Don't Talk About, Young Royals. I'm Anton, my pronouns are he, they.
And I'm Margaret, my pronouns are they, them.
And we're people here to discuss the show our friends are sick of hearing us talk about.
If that sounds like you, stick around. If your friends sent you this podcast out of a desperate attempt to get you to watch Young Royals, take this as a sign.
Go watch Young Royals, then come back to this podcast.
Anton, what are we talking about today?
Today we'll be having a character discussion of Wilhelm in Season 1, Episode 5, having decided we have no choice but to stand.
Ooh. In this discussion, we won't be summarizing the plot of the episode because we already did that. If you need or want a refresher, head back 5 episodes in our feed to our most recent This Week at Hilarska for a full breakdown. This episode discussion will likely be all over the place, so strap in. You have been warned.
What does it say about the show, this character, or myself as a person that, like, this is the one where I felt this is the episode where I felt our job was easiest? In terms of, like, I don't know.
No, I agree. I'm just trying to figure out what it says.
Well, most directly, it says that, like, this episode of the ones thus far is, like, the most defensible, because you're just like, there are wrinkles. We'll get to the wrinkles, but, like, Wilhelm is largely uncomplicated in this episode, which was a refreshing change.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like,
there was the music scene, the music room scene.
Yes.
But that was kind of it.
Yeah.
And if it was coming, well, okay, we may be biased, and I will own up to that bias. If it was any other character, I think him with the society would have been like, what are you doing here, pal? But it was him against August, in which case it was completely and 100% warranted.
Right. I mean, and I have my spin for this,
Spin, doctor! Spin it.
But, I mean, really, my thoughts on Wilhelm in this episode come down to we've been moving steadily forward, but this is the episode where we get evidence of, like, real character growth.
Yeah. Is this also the episode where he's been happy the longest?
Yeah. Almost like those are related.
What?
Almost like those are related. Like, we go through
that's crazy.
Like how character growth is incentivized when our life is better.
Whoa. All right, my therapist is about to go on maternity leave. This therapy is for free.
And just generally, as I think we often acknowledge, but in this episode also, is like, Wilhelm is trying his goddamn best.
He really is. And you know what? I think his best is pretty goddamn good.
Yeah. Like, the thing that, I mean, those who have listened to previous episodes in this cycle know that, like, there are certain complications that I feel around how that society scene plays out. But, as I've also said, like, it shows not only that Wilhelm is shown to finally, like, not only care for someone outside of his family, but act upon that care against the wishes of his second cousin. Like, he is really in previous episodes, we have seen him care for, like, Simon specifically.
Mm-hmm.
But that has not manifested in actual... Okay, I'm arguing against myself here. Like, he, like, befriends Simon, which is its own act of rebellion. But, like, you don't see him actively defending Simon necessarily. Like, he rolls his eyes at various,
well, I disagree. I think him suggesting they just let Alexander take the fall is defending Simon. He just doesn't have to use his name.
Until this episode, as I'm saying. It's like, yes.
Sorry, I spaced out. I was thinking about
You're good.
Cargo Fest.
Like,
it was on this morning. I was texting Alec about it.
But like, it like up like before this episode.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Before this episode, he doesn't.
Yeah, because there's a difference there. Where
there is. Big time.
Where like and like arguably Simon has never been more under threat than he is in this episode. So like,
also true.
Wilhelm hasn't been called to do that. But just in and of itself, it is an act of significance. And,
it's majorly significant.
And it is really a moment worth celebrating and worth standing, which is what we're here to do. So,
yeah, no, I agree. I think, you're right with saying that Simon has never been more under threat than this. And if somebody's like, but he's been like having money issues or whatever, Wilhelm never knew about that.
Right.
Like, Wilhelm didn't know that he got the alcohol for the party until this episode.
Right, yeah.
Which is crazy, because we're over halfway done with this season.
It is one of the wildest parts of this season.
Like, I understand that you can't really break that ice, and it's not like they would have been hanging out.
Yeah.
And Simon be like, oh, hey, by the way, remember how you got drunk?
I mean, and like storytelling wise, we've talked about how like it makes the most sense to have that reveal in this episode. Like, it is
absolutely
for the most dramatic tension. You gotta, but
but it's still like, I do wonder though, because I cannot picture episode 1-2 Wilhelm doing what episode 5 Wilhelm does.
No.
But I do wonder what episode 1-2 Wilhelm would do in the same situation. He'd probably go with it. He'd probably be like, yeah, blame Simon.
Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean,
but I don't think he'd want to. I think it would just be like the path of least resistance.
I mean, it would be reluctant. But episode 1-5 Wilhelm is many trials of the heart past, like, what 1-2 Wilhelm, like,
oh yeah,
like episode 1-2 Wilhelm hasn't even been kissed by Simon yet. Like, we're
episode 1-2 Wilhelm still has a brother. Sorry.
I don't know why that took me out so bad.
It's okay, it took me out too. I frequently don't think about things before I say them. That was one of those times.
I need to get it together. That might be one of the hardest times I've gotten on this podcast.
God damn.
Moving on. I did want to, in the interest of fairness, as we often do on a character standing, anything that we could be used against this character, we do need to come up against.
Music room scene.
Well, there is the music room scene. I'm still a little fixated. Sorry, just on record on the society scene. I just wanted to point out that, like, the repercussions will always make this a little gray for me. of like just choosing another person to take the fall. Like there's something it doesn't feel great, but like I recognizing that fixating on this point takes away from the significance of him doing this, and so I will bury it. That's all I wanted to say.
Also, the fact that it's the only fucking plan that will actually work.
Yeah, and again, Alexander will be fine. All the things we've said before, but I just
again, I don't know how the discipline goes in a Swedish school because I'm an American, but I'd imagine that this point is not that different. That whoever gets caught with the drugs is still in possession of drugs and gets expelled.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter where they came. Well, I mean, it matters where they came from, but that doesn't mean that the person who has them isn't going to get in trouble.
Yeah. Like, what was August going to try to say? Like, is he literally being like, Simon, just shove these drugs into my hands and then you found me?
Right? Like, be like, okay, great, where's Simon? Oh, that's crazy. He's at home asleep. Because they found him, like, either early in the morning or, like, late at night. Because he's not in his room the next morning, which is presumably because he got caught.
Right.
Where was Simon? Asleep, because Wilhelm woke him up when he called. So, like, either way, if anything, you're implicating not only Alexander and Simon, but the entire society.
Yeah.
Which is just, August is a fucking dumbass, and I know this isn't an August episode. But he may be one of the stupidest people I've ever seen on TV.
I just connected something. I don't know if it's a thing.
No, please tell me. We'll figure it out if it's a thing.
Another potential use of the video. August has proof that Simon was out of his house.
That's true. He has proof that Simon's out of his house, but Simon out of his house after Alexander was already caught.
Yeah. Timeline-wise, yeah. But, like, I was just thinking, like, you said, like, where is Simon at home asleep? Like, and we have a very fuzzy idea of what that timeline looks like. But, like...
I mean, we have the call to... Okay. I watch true crime 20 hours in a 24-hour day, okay? We have a call from Wilhelm to Simon. If they were together, they wouldn't have made that call. So presumably they joined up sometime between the morning when that video was taken and when that call was placed.
Yeah. My big thing is we don't know exactly when Alexander was caught. Cuz like
it had to have been soon after he left, because otherwise he would have dropped the drugs in his room.
Yeah.
Because the party splits up because there's lights and shit, right?
Yeah, because the party splits up. Wilhelm fucks off to the soccer field.
Yeah, but they grab all the all the pills and shit really quickly.
Yeah, and
the wee woo lights. No,
I don't think it was wee woo. I think they just literally was like, all they say is Alexander like stashed this somewhere where they won't be found, and then Alexander just leaves. Like,
I'm pulling up some receipts. And this isn't because I don't trust you, it's because I want to make sure we're getting this right.
Yeah, fair.
Oh god, there's Joe Locke with an English accent. Not an English accent, an American one. It's so scary.
Yeah, because like after they're all partying, Alexander, they either just hand all the drugs to Alexander and say, like, stash this somewhere.
No, there's wee woos.
There is wee woos? I totally miss wee woos. No,
maybe it's just lights, but it's like white and red, and they just look at it. And they say,
I don't know how cops could have been that far out there.
I don't know.
I've never
No,
processed
it's
those
just
as
disco
wee-woos.
lights. It's not wee woos.
Okay.
It's just disco lights that are white and red.
Yeah. So, like, my only thinking is that, like, Alexander leaves.
I guess that makes sense, because why would you take time to piss on the building if there were wee woos?
Right, yeah. But, like... Yeah,
that would be dumb.
I
mean, they are extraordinarily high, but...
Right, yeah. So Alexander leaves, like, gets caught, like, while... I'm thinking, like, while Wilhelm is probably, like, at the soccer field.
It's gotta be.
And so, like... there's potentially enough of a timeline that a good enough lawyer could string together. But
I mean, fuck, I could string it together, and I'm not even a lawyer.
Right, yeah. But yeah. This is the worst tangent
We
we've
just
ever
did
had on a
string
character
it.
episode. But it's I just had the thought, and I needed to explore it.
No, that is fair. And I do see how August would be like, boom, proof. Simon was here. Drugs. I could see how August would think that.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
August is a dumbass.
Yeah, it's still a dumbass move. I just think it's maybe slightly less of a dumbass move when you consider he does have physical evidence.
Oh, for sure.
And again, like speculation, he doesn't actually say he's going to do that, but like,
right? No,
he looks at the video enough times and is weighing it enough times that I'm like, that actually is an angle I hadn't considered before.
God, he watches that video so many fucking times. That perv. This isn't an August assassination episode, but goddamn.
Wait a couple weeks.
It could be.
You wanted to talk about the music room scene. I actually didn't. I don't know, for some reason I didn't write notes about it. So I'm curious what you think.
Well, just because this is the only scene where he's like argumentative.
No, fair.
I could see people using it against him. Personally, I don't use it against him because I understand that he's in an impossible situation and he's 16.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like words can hurt. And his words hurt Simon, and then Simon's words hurt him.
Yeah, I have gone so back and forth in this cycle about like my feelings on this scene, and I don't think I'm going to resolve them by the end of the cycle, because it's just like I know it's the whole point of Lisa's writing that they're both right and they're both wrong. Like it.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah, for sure. I mean,
and so it's like I can't. I'm not going to come to a conclusion that I am happy with. So
that's fair.
But because I don't know, I think Wilhelm's like, I mean, they're both stumbling over the words so hard, like they're both just saying the exact wrong thing, and so
they're
you're
saying just wrong enough where you can see what they mean, but in the moment it hurts.
Yeah, and I think with Wilhelm especially, his anxiety is doing the talking. Like that is like never. I think that's never been more clean. It's clear in any scene up in like this one. Like this is the one where like we're not talking to Wilhelm. We're talking to Wilhelm's anxiety. Welcome.
Yeah. This is like Inside Out. We're just talking to anxiety.
Yeah. So I think that's also part of why I actually didn't think to write that down, because I was just like, if you're what, it's like that is a scene. Although weirdly enough, flash forward in next episode, I did bring it up for Simon. I don't know.
The reason why I cannot use this against him is, and I don't like this word because I feel like it's lost all meaning, but should have a meaning.
Mm-hmm.
He is so extraordinarily triggered at this moment in time.
Yeah.
That I kind of can't hold anything he says against him, because I would hope, because I have said worse in a similar mental state,
right.
And I hope that it isn't used against me.
Right.
Now, I'm not proud of that, and I am in therapy working on it.
Right.
But it is also fact.
Yeah.
So
I am realizing, actually, I did have something about the music scene. I just forgot that it was about the music scene, because I was, as usual, being my cryptic ass self and just writing something.
Yeah, go for it. What is it?
Which is just
what you got?
The distorted morality of a lifelong royal. Like,
yeah,
like it is so interesting that both of these things are in the same episode, and I guess one is the answer to the other, because we get the height of Wilhelm's anxiety a lot of the episodes ever since he finds out about Alexander getting caught. Like, his entire mentality is, what the hell is this going to mean for my family?
Right.
Like, he has gone into crisis mode, like he has been enculturated to do, like the way he's been raised to do.
For sure.
And so that is clear. That is on full display. And so, and then it's pushed through with what he does in the by defying August.
Yeah.
And so it's one of like, it's just a really neat wrap up where I'm like, I don't think I need to hold this against you because he shows evidence of remorse, working forward from that, and like doing again the best he goddamn can to like make amends. He says he's going to try to fix it to Simon, and he does fix it. So
he does fix it.
Look at that.
It's maybe not. You know, the more I rewatch this show, the more. God, this is such a Simon character episode type conversation.
Yeah,
but
we could save part of this for next week, but
yeah, we're led to think that Simon is very high and mighty on his morals, and Lisa has even said that. He's really not, though. I don't think. Maybe that's a hot take. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't have morals. He's not August. But I don't think him and Wilhelm are so different in what their morals are. They just have different ways of going about them. Do you know what I mean?
I definitely can understand the direction you're going, but I think this is something to table for next time.
We're absolutely tabling this. I'll get into it more when I've had actually a moment to think about it and not just I thought about it 15 seconds ago. Yeah,
because there's certain thoughts that I have in my notes for Simon that like we could get into, but we're not. That would be pointless here. So,
okie dokie.
Yeah, and my last point is my cold open. So I don't know if.
Let's have your cold open. I was actually real jazzed for you to expand on your cold open.
Yeah, and this is a recent revelation that I had where I was like, I keep saying Crumpets Wilhelm has arrived in the society scene. But for me, I was like, it is kind of an act of self-care as an act of like real autonomy. And like, granted, small caveat, like this power that he has does not come directly from himself, but like he's at least like he's standing in his power for the benefit of another person that like his society, his family would not consider worthy of sticking your neck out for. So it just feels healing in some capacity to like be using this role as a force for good. Like there is a in the moment it is very pleasing to me. So
yeah, I agree with you. It is also just fun to watch August get put in his place. I'm not ashamed in admitting that.
Yeah. August haters are both living and also incredibly angry by this episode. Like,
yeah. And I would say I'm both of those.
Because it's like because it is. God, we're spending a lot of this Wilhelm episode talking about other characters, but it really is like August is like set up at every turn to be made a fool of, and then he bites back. So
he's getting straight up fucking owned scene after scene, and then he's like, revenge porn, and you're like, what?
There's the trigger warning I was waiting for. You're good,
darling. That's the show.
I know. I mean, I know as a person who does write our descriptions, it has had 2 trigger warning. Dang, I was about to say it, and now I have to do it. Child pornography, every single episode.
Yeah.
So.
I wasn't going to say it, because I wasn't going to make you do that one, but that was you. Got
anything else?
No. We spent a lot of time talking about other characters, but I think that's because I know we try to not base our standing off of their interaction with other characters, because that's for Love Among Royals.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how we
really
see Wilhelm come into his own this episode.
Yeah, well, because his the way he comes into his own is by considering other people, like working against his, I think it's safe to say, indoctrination. Yeah. So, yeah. Because, his storyline in this episode is very, like, he doesn't...
It's very intertwined with the homies.
Yeah. We actually don't get a lot of Wilhelm alone in this episode because
we really don't.
Because it's such a it's such a Wilman forward episode that, like...
I mean, the only time I can think of him being alone off the top of my head, he's still in a room full of people, and it's when he gets the messages about the video.
When he texts Simon about how he's going to fix it, he's alone in his room.
That's true.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, that's all I got, though.
Mm-hmm.
Or there are, like, snippets right before he, like, walks up to a group of people, but...
Yeah, like, when he's, like, focusing on Simon after he's learned about the drug thing. Like, in class or, like, in the hallways. Like, there are people around, but it's, like, we are very much, like, in his head, so...
Yeah.
This is the Wilhelm being helpful episode. Or to us specifically.
Yeah. I don't have anything. Do you want to take us out?
Yeah. I don't have anything else either. So
okay.
Thank you for listening. If you'd like to keep up to date with when we release new episodes and other pod-related announcements, you can check our Instagram or our threads at People Don't Talk About. Our next episode will be character standing for Simon, so stay tuned. And with that, all I have to say is,
let's start a revolution, baby.